Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the books that I read in November. So if you want to see this, then stick around. If you are new to my channel, I just want to welcome you. My name is Sarah and this is my channel, Rolling with the Rouses. And here I love to share content on homeschool and motherhood. And I just recently started sharing stuff. I always kind of share book hauls and hauls and stuff like that, but I have been really into reading lately, and I've been really into BookTube and watching BookTube. So I'm probably going to start my own BookTube channel, but I'm not going to yet, and I'm just going to share some book stuff over here for now until I have the time and energy to start another channel. Because that would be fun. But for now, I'm just gonna upload all those videos on here. So if you're interested in book things, then keep watching. And if not, and you like homeschool content, I will still be sharing homeschool content. So make sure that you're subscribed if you like homeschooling and books and motherhood content. This month, I only read 7 books, which actually is a lot for me. I'm a pretty slow reader, but this is why I listen to audiobooks, because I can get more books in when I listen. And I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I do have 5 kids and I homeschool them. So my actual time to be able to read is very limited. So I really utilize my time while I am cooking dinner, or when my kids go to bed, or when I'm folding laundry and things like that, to listen to audiobooks. That way I can get some books in. During this month, I participated in 2 readathons. I participated in Historathon 2.5 and NonFiction November. For Historathon, that is historical fiction books, and it is held by Amanda over at The Curly Reader. I will link her channel below. And she had 5 prompts for it. And of the 5 prompts, I actually only read 1 book, but it fit 2 of the prompts. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And the book that I actually listened to was Stella by Starlight. So that fit the 2 prompts, 3-word title and middle grade historical fiction. So this book was about this little girl named Stella, and it's kind of around the time period of the KKK, and I don't know, it was really good. I gave it 3 stars. I listened to it on audio. I really liked the person that narrated it. I thought they did a really great job, and it's pretty much about this little girl who wants to become a writer, but she really struggles with her words and actually, writing things down on paper. So it's kind of like her journey through that, but also dealing with situations where, white kids have much more privileges than the black kids, and that, I don't even know, there's some really hard topics that are covered, but it's a middle grade book. So sorry, you guys, I got interrupted. Anyway, I can't remember what I was saying, but it covers hard topics in a more gentler approach, I guess I would say, because it is a middle grade book. So I did give that 3 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy it. I loved the person who did the audio for it. I thought they did an amazing job. And yeah, so that is that one. And then for nonfiction November, I actually read 2.5 books because 1 I just haven't finished yet. So the first one, the one I didn't finish, is this one called The Faithful Spy, and I heard about this from Krista over at Books and Jams, and I think she read it for November too. I think I saw it in maybe her November TBR. But this is pretty much the story of Dietrich Bonhoeffer and his plot to kill Hitler. And I don't even know. I only got about a third of the way into this, but I've already learned a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't know. I thought it was really, from what I've read so far, it's really good and just a lot of great information. And it is kind of like, I don't even know, a graphic novel type. So I don't know. I like it so far, and I plan on finishing it. Maybe, I don't know if I'll finish it in December, but maybe January. I don't know. I might try and finish it in December because it is good, and I was learning a lot. The two books that I did finish are Becoming MomStrong by Heidi St. John. You guys, this book was so good. It is a Christian nonfiction book, and it just pretty much talks about, you know, the importance of our role as mothers, and it was just so encouraging. And I also listened to this on audio, and Heidi St. John was the one who narrated it, which I really like because I like her. So I just thought it was really good. I felt super encouraged a lot of the times. I love that she is so real in it, but yet it's very scripture heavy, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. So I gave it 5 stars because it was so good. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention that the Nonfiction November was hosted by Olive from A Book Olive, and I will link her channel below. I will try to remember to link everyone I mentioned in the description box below, and along with all these books that I read this month. Next nonfiction that I read, or that I listened to, was Adventuring Together. You guys, this, yet again, another 5-star read. This was so good. And this book, I'm just going to read the description. A modern, practical, and inspiring guide to creating deep heart connections with kids by regularly creating new experiences and intentional adventures together. This book pretty much just talks about different adventures that you can go on with your kids, and it inspired me in so many ways. I loved this book so much. I mean, I can't even explain to you how much I love this book. It was so good. And I loved that she gave practical tips and tools on how to accomplish these. And she gave real life stories of her adventuring with her kids. What I really love about her too is that I think she had 4 or 5 kids, and I have 5 kids, and 4 of them are very close together, and they're 7 and under. So they're very close in age and young. So they're younger kids. And she was just talking about her experiences of adventuring with her kids, even when they were little toddlers and stuff, like going on hikes, and how they went from just hiking a little bit to being able to hike miles, and her kids being able to wear like their own little packs to hike with, carrying their own water bottles and snacks and stuff, to going to art galleries and camping and just fun adventures like that. And this book impacted me so much that one thing that I loved as a little girl, and one of my fondest memories that I have, is going camping with my family. And it was really one of my most favorite times of my childhood, is when we would go camping. And I have always had this desire to go camping with my kids, and I've actually camped in the backyard with my kids because that was as much as adventuring I could go, or braving it. But after reading this book, I got so encouraged that I literally planned a camping trip. And it was so fun. I live in Florida, so it's normally hot during this time. And the week that we went, or the couple days that we actually decided to go, it was cold. So we were freezing in the middle of the night, but we had so much fun, and it was so fun. And what I really loved about this book is how she said, even if it doesn't go as expected, like these adventures, like, you know what, your kid might throw a tantrum in the middle of it, or it might be so stressful on you, or something crazy might happen where, I don't even know, you know, a kid's diaper explodes, or like us, we go camping and it's freezing, and we're freezing in our tent the whole night. And we're all still alive. We didn't freeze to death, because let's just be real here. It was 40 degrees, which is freezing for us here in Florida. But I'm originally from Massachusetts, so I know that's not really that cold. But because, you know, our blood and body has accustomed to the weather down here, it is cold for us. So I don't even know, you guys. I highly recommend this book if you have kids and you just want to have fun adventures with them. This book is so good and encouraging, and she gives great practical tools on how to even prepare for trips and stuff like that. Oh, highly recommend it. It was so good. All right, the next 4 books that I'm going to talk about, I guess I'll go in star rating. So this next book, I actually gave it 2 stars, and it was it was a manga, which I guess is a graphic novel. I never even knew what a manga was, and I actually saw this book from Mackenzie over at Mackenzie Lane. I will link her channel below, but she was reading this in November, and I have never read a manga before, so I decided I'm just going to try it out. And I feel like graphic novels and mangas, those are the type of books that I could actually read and get through, because I don't really have to. I feel like books like that, because they're a graphic novel, they're faster to read through, and all of the pictures, of course. But I can actually attain reading them, if that makes any sense, because, like I said, I don't have a lot of spare time because I'm a mom of 5. So these type of books, I can definitely sit and be able to read and get through the whole thing probably in a month, or, you know, in a couple days or whatever. But the book that I'm talking about is called Orange, and I didn't even know that a manga you read backwards. So when I got it from the library, I wish I still had it because I'd show you, but I had to return it because someone else wanted it. But you actually read it backwards. I was like, oh my gosh, is this supposed to be like this? Did they mess this book up? And then I went and looked it up, and you read it backwards. So it was all right. I guess it didn't even answer this book. It was like collection 1, and you don't even find out the whole answer, because I guess it's a series. I don't think I'll go on to read it, but I mean, it was okay for the first time ever reading a manga. And I did love and appreciate all the artwork in it. I am a very artsy person myself, so I love looking at other people's artwork. So I liked that aspect of it, but the storyline, it was all right. It was pretty much a book about these, I think there were 6 friends, and one of them gets a letter from her future self, kind of trying to get her to change it. So it had like time traveling features in it and stuff like that. I don't know. It was okay. I only gave it 2 stars. Okay, so moving on to the next 2 books. These were actually in a series, and I first heard about this series from Amanda over at the Curly Reader, and then I heard Krista from Books and Jams talking about it. It's from this series, the Lunar Chronicles, and I had never heard about this series until I started watching Amanda's channel, and she was talking about it, and she just loved it so much. And then they were doing the Lunar readathon, and they just talked about it so much that I decided I wanted to do it. So I listened to Cinder in October, and I loved it. It was so good. It's like a sci-fi retelling, and it is so good. So the first one is Cinder, which I mentioned last month, and that one is kind of like a Cinderella retelling. So then I read the next 2 in that series, which was Scarlet, which is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. I loved that one as well. It follows Scarlet and Wolf, but it still has some of the characters from Cinder, because it is a whole series. So you still are following Cinder and Kai from Cinder. But in this book, you're mostly learning about Scarlet and Wolf's journey, and it is really good. I gave that one 5 stars. And then I read Cress, which is the 3rd book in the series, and that one is a Rapunzel retelling, and once again, 5 stars. It was so good. And I listen to all these on audio, and the person that, I can't remember who it is that does the audio version of it, but she does a great job. Awesome. I wish I could read like this, but all the voices that she used, and I don't even know, I just think she did a phenomenal job of doing the audio of this. So I also gave Cress 5 stars. These books are so good, and I'm so glad that I started reading them because I love them. So the last book that I read, I actually heard about this one from Oshina over at, what is her, I can't remember her Instagram. Maybe it's just Oshina. I can't remember what her not her Instagram. You guys can't even think right now. I don't remember what her YouTube name is, but I will link her down below as well. I really like her. But she talked about, I think it was one of her favorite books. It's called Love and a Little White Lie. And this is a Christian fiction, and it was so cute. I really loved it. It's pretty much about a girl who is an atheist, and she comes to stay, she broke up with her boyfriend, and she comes to stay with her aunt who is a Christian, and her aunt has her go to this church to apply for a job there, and she ends up getting hired. And I don't even know, you guys, it is so good. It is a romance book, but it's very clean, which I really like, and I just thought this was such a sweet book and just a really relaxing, cozy read, like love story. And I love the faith elements in this book. I think that was what made me love it even more. So like, it was really good. And just how, you know, you could see throughout the whole book how God is working in her life and working in the other people around her's lives who are believers, and how he just weaves everything together and works everything together for our good and his glory. And I just thought it was a really good book, so I gave it 5 stars. And that wraps up all of the books that I read this month. If you guys enjoy videos like this, then please be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, guys, have a blessed day.